Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled People. In today's episode, sister-in-law wants me to throw her a baby shower. Breakfast. Don't be entitled and still expect favors. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Sister-in-law wants me to throw her a baby shower. For context, my 28-week pregnant sister-in-law, let's call her Sophia, and her husband, my brother, moved to the state I live in 2 months ago for his work. They moved from a different state, which was also the state her parents live in. Hence, this is all a very new environment for her. Furthermore, she is currently unemployed and staying at home, so she feels rather lonely. My husband, wanting to make them feel more welcome and comfortable, suggested planning a small welcome party for them, which I thought was a good idea. We celebrated at a restaurant as her apartment was not yet fully furnished and my house is a mess. We have a 1-year-old son and are moving to another city soon, so we have boxes stacked all over the place. Sophia is aware of that. Recently, however, Sophia has been constantly talking about having someone throw her a baby shower because she saw a TikTok about it. She has become incredibly fixated on this. At that point in time, we were approximately a week away from the move. Our furniture had been wrapped and our house was mostly empty. My husband was busy finalizing the arrangements for our move, and thus I was mainly the one taking care of our son. Sophia would often call at night when I was bathing my son and putting him to bed to complain that her parents couldn't come down to see her and her husband was unenthusiastic about baby showers, and tell me she wished someone would surprise her with one, heavily implying that I should do so since I was the only person she knew in the state. I reminded her that I was in the middle of a move, and explained that she could consider hosting a baby shower and I would try to attend after everything was settled. She says it's just not the same. The final straw was while my baby was vomiting and running a high fever, she decided to send me a Pinterest board about baby showers. I show it to my husband, he's pissed and texts Sophia that I'm not obliged to throw her any kind of party and blocks her. Post-move, I unblock her and she starts messaging me that she's hurt and upset by my apathy. She then asks if I'm angry because she didn't help with the move, and her final message was that I'm acting like wanting to celebrate her baby is too much to ask for, and if you could host a welcome party, I don't understand why you can't do a baby shower. I'm ignoring her because I will not put up with her bullshit any longer, but God forbid I march over to her apartment and knock some sense into her. Block her again. Thank you. I will. I'm hoping she can reflect on herself and work on her attitude, although that's unlikely. She's already being defensive. You threw me one party. Therefore you are capable of throwing me another whenever I want. Get ready to get asked to babysit. Thank goodness OP moved to a different city. Who would you have invited to a baby shower? You were leaving the area, she had just arrived in the area. Again, who would have come? Presumably her parents, my parents, friends from her old state. She's the type of person to think people are willing to travel to see her, and me and my husband of course. Would not be surprised if she tried to get my husband's parents in too. Who knows? She has no shame. I'm a property manager for an apartment complex. One of my residents told me she wants us to throw her a baby shower for her 7th baby as one of our monthly activities. I told her we can't do that, because if we do it for her we have to do it for everyone. She said she didn't care about that, she just wants free shit for herself. I told her it's a fair housing issue, plus we can't afford to do this for everyone having babies. She got pissed off us and wanted HUD's and my corp office phone number. I gave them to her and said knock yourself out. I haven't heard back from her in a couple months. Surprise her by blocking her again and not unblocking until after the baby is born. FFS, you are moving with a 1-year-old and she wants a baby shower. She can bother BF's family to throw her one. Breakfast. My aunt is visiting from out of town and wanted to go to breakfast, but I never eat breakfast and I have a kitchen stocked full of food. I'm happy to cook for you. But she wanted to go out for breakfast. I finally agree to go to breakfast with her, and then she gets upset when I asked for a split check. Like, ma'am, you are the one who wanted to do this. I was perfectly fine with staying at home, so no, I'm not paying for your $25 breakfast. I hate people who expect others to pay for them. And worst is people who order tons of extras and drinks on top of their expensive meal because they expect to split a check with everyone at the table, including the person who just had a bowl of soup and drank water. Yes, that is just total bad manners, IMHO. Then you need to start asking for separate checks. Or forgetting your wallet and having them pay it all and Venmo ing them just for your part. So she didn't want to go out for breakfast. She wanted you to treat her to breakfast. Is she staying with you during this visit? In my family, she would have covered the entire check as a sort of thank you. Same, the guest treats the host. Yes, she is staying with me during the visit. I have a spare room, so I offered it up. It was her desire to go. She wanted you to go with her. That's an invitation. She should have paid for both of you. WTH? She should be paying for your meal. And I would have told her that. Either it's split check or you're paying for it all. I went for a works meal, and because I was driving I had the set meal and a lemonade. When the bill came and 6 of colleagues wanted to split it 12 ways, I said no. They had been drinking all night and I wasn't paying for their drinks. The others, who were driving and had just had the set meal and a soft drink, agreed with me, and in the end, we put down our money and told them to sort it. We, the 6 drivers, also put down our tip together and handed it to the waitstaff as we expected our colleagues to try and use that towards their bill. UK, so tipping isn't as big a thing. Don't be entitled and still expect favors. I, 28F at the time, would like to share a story of an ex-coworker, Sarah, 29F. Not only did we work together 12 plus hours a day, but were housemates, not by choice, sharing staff accommodation. This all went down in 2020, and though we were working in tourism, we were very busy because no one could travel to leave the state, so everyone was enjoying their own backyard, as it were. If you have experience in this sort of career, you know you have to be able to get along well with others and live in communal harmony, because you are constantly around the same people all the time and you can't really escape them even in your home life. Most people are extra considerate given the circumstances. But not Sarah. Sarah had, and I can only presume, still has, the most warped sense of entitlement, including demanding to use my Netflix ACCT and being personally offended and harassing me when I changed my password, to being written up, but not fired, for physically bullying other female staff, to being straight up confrontational and refusing to pay her part of the fuel money when she begged me all day to give her a ride to the capital city 3 hours away. Ultimately, the job did not pay me enough to put up with her shenanigans, amongst other things. Who is not firing a staff member who physically assaults and screams at their supervisor in front of guests, and not long after this incident I moved on to a much better paying gig. But I digress. We had another flatmate / co-worker living with us, 55M. The 2 of them were making dinner. I was not involved at all and was in my bedroom. Sarah knocks on my door holding up my bottle of wine. Did you buy this at the bottle shop down the street? I replied that I had not. I got it from the city 3 hours away. She turned around and walked back to the kitchen telling our other flatmate, I'll just drink it tonight and replace it, and she put the bottle on the dining room table and continues chatting with him. As it so happens, it was a cheap bottle of wine that I bought for slow cooking the beef cheeks that were in the fridge, not for drinking. In fact, it would taste pretty gross to drink. I went to the kitchen, told Sarah this isn't a good drinking wine, please don't use it, and put it back on my shelf in the pantry. It was a surprise to absolutely no one to see later on that night. Sarah had indeed opened my wine and it was now sitting on her pantry shelf. What le fuck? The level of disrespect was far too much and I was done, officially. The next morning we got up early to go to work, Usually we leave the house around 5:40 a.m. for a 6 a.m. start. Sarah does not have a car and I drive everyone to and from work every single day. Sarah, nor other flatmate for that matter, has never given me a single cent in fuel money the whole season. On this day, flatmate was out going to a doctor's appointment. Sarah, chronically late, was still getting ready while I had my coffee in hand and headed to my car. She didn't even bother to say good morning, let alone mention anything about my bottle of wine that I specifically asked her not to use. Yet she was telling me to wait for her because she was almost ready. I told her very clearly that due to her disrespect and entitlement she was no longer welcome in my car and would have to organize her own transportation from now on, and walked outside. She looked like a stunned mullet. As I was opening the driver's side door, she comes storming out of the house angrily squawking, "Hang on, what's going on here?" I replied, "You're not my friend and I don't owe you any favors." Befuddled, she spat, "Yeah, I know." I replied, "Great," and drove off to work by myself. She purposely did not speak to me at all after that, which was actually very nice of her, considering her usual passive-aggressive, demeaning way of speaking to people she thought she was better than. Highlights include her smiling and waving to a group of co-workers on a different vessel, which included myself, with me enthusiastically waving back with a big shit-eating grin on my face. When she realized it was me, she immediately shot her hand back down and looked like someone had just punched her mother in the face. I really enjoyed the last few shifts I had there before I peaced the F out. When I left, she told my boss that I ran over her phone with my car. I found out that not long after, she was fired. I love it when people think their silence is a punishment, not a welcomed and wanted thing. I know, right? Don't promise me a good time, lady. A bottle of cheap cooking wine to get rid of her. That was cheap. You weren't in Western Australia in 2020 by any chance, were you? I ask because of the "no one could leave the state" part of the intro. I know other parts of the country had restrictions during that period, but WA had the toughest limits on getting back in once you were out. Just ask my niece, who spent 6 months living in an apartment with a boyfriend she had met two weeks earlier, and other people neither of them had met before. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.